Cold Show, the sequel. That's right, we're doing it again. We got another Cold Show tonight. I figured the first one was such a runaway wild success. Why not try it again? We'll see if the sequel is better than the original. I'm here on the mean streets of Trinidad, Colorado tonight. Not Pueblo. It's actually, I think, colder here in Trinidad. It's actually worse. So I've upped the stakes a little bit. But yeah. Wow. Gotta pick up my stuff. My glove on. So, I'm going to walk down this trail. I've never, and I'm recording this in a vertical aspect ratio, not because I like it, but because that's how the original Cold Show was, and it feels like a tradition at this point. This is probably going to be the last Cold Show, because I don't want to be out in these freezing temperatures anymore. But, yeah. I am, and I have 10 hours to kill before my bus gets here, so kill an hour with me. Hop on the stream, baby. Hop on the dang stream. We got 0 views here. Oh, it'll come by in a moment. So this is the end of my tour, my Revving It Up tour. I am finished. Came all the way down here to Pueblo. Took like 8 hours to get here, and the place was closed. So I'm pretty sure southern Colorado towns just like suck in terms of live music, so not going to try it again. The North Colorado towns, Fort Collins, Loveland, everything, they were great. But, I mean, the Pueblo open mic was fun. It was really great, but the fact it's canceled in December kind of sours it for me. And this place, I don't know what the hell is up with this place. They're just fucking closed. Terrible. So this is the last night of my tour. I'm officially done as of tonight. I'm coming back here. Not giving Trinidad another chance because it costs $60 of bus fare just to make it here. And if they can't even be bothered to be open for me, I'm not going to toss another 60 at Trinidad anytime soon. Maybe the spring, but right now, like I say, it's fucking freezing, and it's very, very unpleasant. I did not think that Trinidad would suck this much with this major suckage, but it's worse than Pueblo, I think. It's not snowing, it's just like this bitter, awful cold that gets up in my extremities, and I don't like this cold so much. It's not like a magical wintry wonderland. It's just like it just sucks, you know. Really bad weather, really awful. I'm going to take my sunglasses off here. We've got a viewer. What have you to say? I'm here in Trinidad, and it's Cold Show 2, even colder than before. Cold Show 2, the coldening. We've got it even colder, even icier. We've got just total frigid temperatures tonight. You have any questions, thoughts, observations? I'm speaking from the shores of the Purgatoire River, which, is some language for purgatory, and that's about what it feels like, you know? Well, no, I guess not purgatory. There's the layer of hell that's the freezing bath of ice, and that's about how this is, if I had to say. But Purgatoire is somehow a fitting name for this detestable little body of water. Ooh, my fingers, they feel like cooked sausages. It's a good thing that I'm moving. So we got any questions, thoughts, interesting anecdotes to keep me company here on the Cold Show? I got 10 hours of a cold night, and I'd like to kill at least one with you. Lay it on me. One thing I will say about Trinidad which is kind of interesting, is that a lot of the roads here are actually paved with brick, which isn't a very common thing anywhere else that I can tell. It's kind of neat. Yeah, put my glasses back, huh? Shit. You have any thoughts, any ideas, any super chats? I don't think you can donate super chats here on my channel. Thank fuck for that. I don't want a super chat. I just want someone to ask me an interesting question because it's the Cold Show. Are you kidding? This is the show that makes everyone, glad they're home by the fire, Because, I'm not. Got any questions, thoughts, inquiries? I'm here at the park right now. Got the playground there. It's a bit creepy. But one thing I have seen is there is an outhouse, and it's not functional because it's winter, so the outhouse isn't working. But there are about 4 crack addicts outside, and it looks like they're camping up there all night. One of them's got this dog that keeps barking at me. But, so yeah, you can just hang out in the park here all night, it would seem, but it's so cold I need to move, actually. Much as I'd like to well, no. I don't like dogs, so, this dog keeps barking at me. But it looks like they can just stay there all night and smoke their crack by the outhouse. Not gonna show them, that would be exploitative, and I don't want to become the next fucking bum fights or anything. In fact, this tour has taught me a great deal of respect for homeless people and drug addicts and people on the streets, because it's like, they have to do this every fucking night. It's like, how can you even do that when, I guess the drugs help quite a bit to numb the senses, but oh man, I don't want to expose my body to this levels of temperatures anymore, really. It's not much fun. The novelty is kind of worn off, let me say, and after 10 whole towns, I'm ready to just be done with it, especially since Trinidad can't even be bothered to have their fucking open mic go. It's too far and too expensive, that's what I say, Too far, too expensive. You got any thoughts, questions, comments, interesting things to say from the Peanut Gallery? Let's hear it. Am I covering up the speaker? Shoot. With my big stupid glove, my fingers are very numb. So, excuse me. I'm going to sit down for a second here. I think I'm far enough away from the encampment. They won't bother me, but anyway, they're a pleasant bunch. We've got 1 viewer in here. We got any questions, thoughts, ideas? It's the Cold Show. Anything goes on the Cold Show. Coldest show in Colorado, baby. Fuck yeah. Oh, gone. Just like that. Who are you people? Just like Kazoo Kid says, Who are you people? Yeah. Man. It is miserable here in Trinidad. It is cold as hell. It is just insufferably frigid. I thought, I'll go down to Trinidad because it's a desert down there. So, it must be nice and warm compared to Denver. Surely compared to Denver, Trinidad is warmer. But no, deserts are actually cold as fuck, because they have no vegetation to process the oxygen. It really sucks. Deserts are fucking cold. I should have considered this. Anyway. That feels good to sit, at least. So, what's the story, Morning Glory? We got 1 viewer. How's it going? Enter any of your questions, thoughts, interesting anecdotes, etc. into the live chat, and I will respond in real time. That's right, you're on the Cold Show, the coldest show around. What's the icy slogan? Coldest drink in town. It's just like that, but a live entertain. 2 viewers. Fuck yeah! Now we're getting fun. Now we're getting interesting here. You got any questions? I'm in Trinidad, and it is currently supposedly 30 degrees, but it feels like about 15 degrees. It feels like there are needles being jammed into my fingers. I tell you, it's fucking cold. I mean, can you imagine being this cold? Doubt you can. Doubt you can. But I've been in scenarios like this before, and I'll probably be in scenarios like this again, just for the fuck of it, you know? So how are we going? How are we doing, huh? What do you know about Trinidad? Do you know any interesting Trinidad facts? One fun fact is I don't know why it's called Trinidad or if it has any kind of relation to the island. I did set one of my short stories here in a still remembrance of Redline. Other than that, I don't know anything about Trinidad, if I'm being honest. I've never actually been in Trinidad before. I've passed through it many times on the bus and in a car, but I've never been in Trinidad. Hey yourself. Gilbert Phil says, hey yourself with the Weasels Ripped My Flesh profile picture. Is that your favorite Frank Zappa album? That's a good question. Is Weasels Ripped your favorite Frank Zappa album? One interesting thing about Trinidad I've noticed is there's a sign on the hill next to Trinidad. It's even up there right now. If I turn the camera, maybe you can see it, but it's up there. Yeah, that little white speck up there, right up top. And it says Trinidad. So Trinidad is a town that has such a high opinion of itself, and you know, maybe this opinion is warranted, I don't know. It has takes such a pride in being Trinidad. It has a big ass sign that just says Trinidad, which is pretty cool if you think. He's got too many to choose a favorite. I think only for the money is mine. I mean, they're all very different, so it's actually pretty easy to choose a favorite because everyone has its unique attributes, and some will speak to you and some won't, just depending on the attributes you like and the attributes you don't like, right? So with Frank Zappa, I think it's pretty easy to choose a favorite. I had one friend one time, and she was like, I was like, you like Frank Zappa? And she's like, nah. I just don't get it. There's too many guys like Frank Zappa. But really, I don't think there are too many guys like Frank Zappa. Lots of guys try to be like Frank Zappa, but they don't succeed because, like, you know, it's not going to work. I guess Dweezil can, but, like, not just anyone, of course. I've listened to Money way too much, lol, but it was for a while. Well, like, you just listen to it on repeat, on and on and on. I like Only in It for the Money, mainly just because it makes fun of the Beatles, and I think that's really cool and awesome and countercultural to do that when the Beatles are the most, in thing. I wish there was still, like, a good parody type albums like that, like a parody of Brad or something, like a parody of a very popular album. It just kind of makes fun of it. Not that Money is only a parody, but, like, because the content on the record is fun too in its own right, in its own way. What are examples of bands that try to be like Frank Zappa but aren't? I should listen to more Zappa. Well, I mean, there's a lot. I think Mac DeMarco wishes he was Frank Zappa. I think lots of guys wish they were Frank Zappa. Especially like millennials. I think millennials in particular have kind of a Zappa complex. It's really sad. Whenever a guy tries to be Frank Zappa, I can immediately tell. Who else is a good example? Maybe Daniel Lopan. Maybe. I mean, a pretty good argument could be made that Ariel Pink probably feels in some way like he's the successor to the Zappa legacy, but man, he wishes he was Frank Zappa. I don't know. I mean, if you asked him, he'd probably go, I love Frank Zappa, you know. I mean, they're both Californian. These stupid sunglasses. People always tell me I'm like the only person they know of that wears sunglasses at night. That's true. It really is stupid, but it just looks too good. To wear sunglasses at night really, you know, it takes some pulling off, but if you can do it, man, it looks good. The only Mac DeMarco song I heard was Chamber of Reflection. Style over sight. Well, that's true, but there is a lot of ice here in Trinidad. There wasn't in Pueblo, oddly enough. And it was snowing, but there wasn't any ice. Here in Trinidad, though, the streets are pretty damn icy. It's really neat. I like desert towns. I like desert towns because they're less strict about people resting, because like siestas are just like a common cultural thing. Trinidad, from everything I've seen, has a pretty high Hispanic population. And, you know, that's just like a custom with them, the siesta. So no one gets on your ass about napping because, like, you know, it's the desert. But Trinidad doesn't seem quite as cool as Pueblo. It just doesn't have that magic touch, I have to say. Maybe I'm just a little miffed over open mic being canceled, but this really is the end of my tour. And, you know, I'm glad. It's been a good tour, but, like, I'm ready for it to be done. The gimmick has worn off. What do you think of the song I Wear My Sunglasses at Night? I've never heard that song. Who by? What band? What musician is I Wear My Sunglasses at Night by? See, right here, it's a bank. It's a bank, and right across the street, there's like a group of like 4 people just camping out for the evening. So they really don't seem to care too much here in Trinidad. Anyway, I'm gonna just walk some blocks away so I can just not worry about it. I'm gonna walk until I can't walk anymore. That's right. I've never heard the song What I Wear My Sunglasses at Night. Can't say I have. It is cool to wear sunglasses at night. It's kind of dangerous because you can't really see where you're going, but it looks cool. I like sunglasses. They're nice. One thing I noticed nowadays is like barely any guys wear sunglasses, which like really sucks because like sunglasses look way cooler than normal type glasses, which seem to be the big choice these days. Corey Hurt, I think, haven't heard much. Yeah, I've never heard Corey Hurt. I will check that out though, for sure. Once I'm out of this wild frenzy here. It's kind of creepy. This flagpole keeps making sounds. As the chain bashes against the pole, it's like clank, clank, clank. Not sure if that picks up on audio. It's kind of unnerving. Kind of scary. Anywho, any other questions? Thoughts? Interesting observations about the cold. Cryogenics. Yeah, you do hear it? It's creepy. I don't know what about it. It's just not fun to hear. Now look at this building here. This building is a wreck, but I love it. Look at that. I mean, it's entirely abandoned. And if I was, you know, if I was a bit less scrupulous, I would go on inside and just nap it up in there. But, you know, I just respect it as a piece of architecture. Ariel Pink does not sound hypnagogic. I have not heard any of his. Yeah, no, not at all. His music, it just has bad production. That doesn't make it hypnagogic. It doesn't make it evocative of memory. It just makes it bad production. Look at this nice little mural of the Colosseum there. It's very cute. It's got a nice Roman flavor, I have to say. Yeah. Little. Some fellow pedestrians out this late. Look at this. These are really nice murals. I do like admiring local art, giving some props. We've got like Medusa lady here, and then it got I think that's supposed to be one of the great, Greek heroes, Odysseus or so. And then this other guy, maybe he's a Trojan. Yeah, he's in orange, and the other guy's in blue. It just feels kind of right. But, I don't know. I don't know what this mural's supposed to be. It's a really cool mural. I like it a lot. I love the Roman influence. I like me some Greek and Roman type stuff. Not sure if the artist was really thinking of anything in specific, just kind of classical. It's very nice. It's really, really pretty. There. I'm at the Colosseum. Are any of Throbbing Gristle in my top 100 albums list? Oh, I'm gonna get that out eventually. I'm gonna get part 3 out this February. I gotta finish that. It's just so much raw footage to go through and edit. I'm not sure if Throbbing Gristle's in any of my top 100 albums. I know that I like what's it called, Jazz Funk Greats, but I'm not sure if I'd listened to that at the time I'd recorded my top 100 albums. And even if I had, it might not make on. Throbbing Gristle is good. I do like Throbbing Gristle, but I don't know. I think, I forget. I'm pretty sure if you haven't seen it show up yet, which I feel like, if anything, Throbbing Gristle would be on the, 50 to 100 range of my top 100 albums. If it's not on there, it's probably not. But my favorite, for the record, is Jazz Funk Greats. Look at this house. Just completely abandoned. That's something that happens out here that just would not happen in Denver. Just totally... Oh, that was the waterworks. That's the old Trinidad Waterworks there. It's pretty sad. Quite the wreck. I wonder how Trinidad gets its water now. The waterworks is just a derelict husk. That is pretty sad, but I do love the old buildings. I love that Trinidad lets its buildings stay up. It's the same in Pueblo, they just let these nice old buildings stay up. It's very pretty, and it displays a respect for history that, Denver doesn't really have. Those houses look beautiful. I was about to say dreamcore, but that's a buzzword trend. I don't know. I feel more like, if I had to pick an aesthetic, I'd say it's like suburban gothic. But then again, sometimes I tap the phone screen with my nose. Works. Dreamcore is usually during the day. Maybe if this was during the day, that'd be dreamcore, but I've never actually seen a dreamcore picture that's at night, which doesn't really make sense, because dreams are at night. I had a big feud with the editors of the aesthetics wiki one time, because I was trying to make these images that were weirdcore, weirdcore is like the one with eyes and shit. And I put eyes in it and stuff, but they were like, "Oh, this isn't weirdcore." because they had like such a narrow view of what weird core could be, and it's weird core. It should be weird. I tried making these weird core images, and they were like, "Oh, this isn't weird core. This is your own thing." And it's like, I'm gonna make, it's gonna reflect me a little bit. I made it. I think aesthetics, if they're too specific, can be limiting to art if you only focus on one. But if you take influence from a lot of them, then yeah, I think some of them, like especially like cartoon core, are really, really poorly informed. I tried writing an article about an aesthetic called comic core because I know that comics have their own aesthetic that is very much distinct from cartoons. They have their own visual language that's like well documented, their own aesthetic. The editors are like, no, that's just cartoon core. And the image for their cartoon core article is like fucking Flapjack. Imagine having that represent all of Western cartoons, all of the Western Hemisphere's cartoon output. You just choose Flapjack. That's fucking stupid. They just choose Bugs Bunny or something. One time I saw you in a dream, Nicholas. Oh, do tell. What was the dream about? Elaborate on this. I was in a dream. Now, that's quite the honor. I mean, not everyone shows up in dreams. What was the plot? What went on? Exactly. Here we are at the railroad crossing. This is the big rail that goes from all the way from Wyoming to Mexico border in Texas. I've seen pretty much the entire length of it. It goes along with the I-25 corridor. Beautiful, beautiful crossing here. What was the plot of the dream? What happened in it? Was I just there or what? Sounds interesting. If you would elaborate, I don't get run down here. I went to like an abandoned sitcom set that you bought for some reason. There were weird animatronics. I only saw your head from a back room, and that's it. I called my friend, and he thought it was one half. One half of what? One half of the sitcom, or one half of my head, or what? Oh, 1 out of 2? Oh, it split your message, I see. Hate when it does that. I forgot YouTube did that sometimes. It's annoying. It can be very annoying. It's kind of interesting. Looks like a whole passenger platform here. I think I saw... Oh, he thought it was very cool. Then aliens began to invade, and you booked it out of there. I called my other friend and immediately went to voicemail. That part went true the next week, as that friend blocked me the day after the dream. Interesting. I guess in that scenario, I'm kind of like a Peter Lorre figure. No, Chuck Lorre. Who's the King of Queens guy? Chuck Lorre? Showrunner? Chuck Lorre, right? I don't remember, but that's neat, I suppose. I run, I show run 2.5 Men and King of Queens and whatever. That's a nice fantasy. I like that. There's a desert plant. I'm in the middle of a desert, but it feels like the Arctic tundra right here. Yeah, Lorre, right. Can't stand Big Bang Theory, but maybe I could outdo him, I'm in the middle of a desert and it feels so fucking cold. It's wild. Man, climate can surprise you when you least expect it. I thought I saw an Amtrak train go by on that platform. It's been forever since I've ever seen an Amtrak train. I know they still exist and they still go places, but they're so rare compared to the big freights. the big freight trains that carry coal and oil and all the valuable stuff. They seem so much more common than passenger trains, because no one really takes trains anywhere anymore. But I do like that it still exists technically. I just take the bus because it's a lot cheaper. But even then, I spent $60 to come out here to Trinidad, and it's just a total waste because there wasn't an open mic tonight. Sucks. I should not come this far out. It's kind of pointless because it's not like anyone's going to buy 6 comics and I'll make my money back, and like I'm just going to listen to my music for free, which is fine. I like playing music for free, but at least let me do that, for fuck's sake. Wow, where is this place? Parking garage. Now this shit is hypnagogic. This shit is some dreamy time shit, It's under this highway overpass here. This is I-25, I think. Yeah. This is I-25, so it's just like a highway overpass in Denver. Reminds me of the one that was at Broadway and I-25. I used to love that underpass, but they went in there with construction and shit, and it's been totally messed up and scrapped to hell. Really sucks. That was a fun spot. It was kind of haunting like this. It's reminiscent. I like these big parking structures. It's pretty eerie in a sense. Helps to get my mind off the fucking cold, because it really is very, very, very fucking cold. Like, ridiculously so. So we're halfway through the cold show. Aren't you glad that you're in a nice warm room right now? Isn't that just delightful? I tell you what. We got any questions, comments, interesting factoids? It's been a lively little chat here, I have to say. There are so many views on Cold Show 1. I figured, let me follow through on this. I'm in Delaware right now. Very warm in my room. Interesting. Don't freeze to death. Well, I've been through worse. I've actually been... Well, maybe the Pueblo time was worse, because with Pueblo, there was so much snow. If I hadn't been under that bridge, I could have frozen to death, because, that bridge was basically actually the only safe place where it wasn't totally covered in powdery shit. And apparently that's like the only time the entire year that the Puebloans ever got snow. They regard it as like a freak happening, basically. They were like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know we could get snow. Because usually Pueblo doesn't, but they did. No, I won't freeze to death. I can weather the elements. I came prepared. 2 nice coats and a scarf and hat and gloves and all of it, so I will make it out in one shape, in one piece. Not like the manga, but you get the idea. I'll make it out. Make it out all right. Now here's a great example of desert architecture. This is what I love about the desert. They just let these fucking buildings that serve like zero purpose just sit. They just sit around. And it's not like in Denver where the buildings are like all these big hot properties that have for sale signs in the window. Now, I don't like all these for sale signs that Denver properties get. It's like, no one's going to buy it, and no one's going to buy it. But here in the desert, they're just allowed to like sit, just like languish. It's like looking at a totally dead ghost town, even though Trinidad very much is not. People do live here and shit goes on. There are some Colorado ghost towns. Might be interested in visiting one someday. I have actually been to one Colorado ghost town. It's called Last Chance. out on the eastern plains, but that's different from the mountain type ghost towns. Look at this building, this entire thing. Look at that. It's literally just planks. It's just fucking planks, right? And it's not like, like, I know that some people, especially in cities like Detroit, they'll see a building like this and they'll think, oh, there's probably some gang activity in there. There's probably Crips and Bloods going at it in there, all kinds of sordid shit. There's probably a coke smuggling ring in there. But like, here in the desert, it's just like, no, this is literally just a building that like no one has ever loved. It's so sad. It's just an entire desolate storefront of nothing. It's insane. Chicago has been pretty warm this winter. Really? You guys have the entire lake to keep you chilled. Next to a big body of water like that, I'd imagine there's tons of drafts and fog and frost coming off that thing. I would assume. Look at this fucking thing. This is so sad. No one cares. It's just like dead. And it says private property, no trespassing. But, I mean, it's just sad. Been in the 40s this week. Yeah, I guess it's in the 40s during the day here in Trinidad, but at night, man, it drops about half that. It says it's 30 degrees, but it feels like about 20 or less. Look at these windows. So many just totally broken, destroyed, cracked, shattered, poor windows. It's very sad. It reminds me of the book The Little House, where there's a little house and she just like gets, over time she starts with a nice coat of paint, and it's by the same author that wrote Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel. She starts out with this nice perky coat of paint, and then over time, gentrification comes in. It's a really good book about gentrification. It's like it starts on this nice, beautiful hill, and people love to live in her, and then over time, she just gets totally screwed and broken, and her windows get trashed, and her boards get pried apart and shit. It's really sad, actually. Now look at this. This used to be movie rentals. It was, I don't know if you can read that. Check it out. It's a movie rental place. So that's why it's closed. It was Spotlight Video. Isn't that cute? This was Spotlight Video. Gotta get a picture of this. This was a video rental store. Totally defunct and obsolete. But I like it. Fuck yeah. Love video rental store. Hell yeah. Love me some video rental. Oh. Got that. Flash. Get those details. Hell yeah. Don't know if it shows up on video. That's weird. A school bus at this time of night. What the hell? Don't know if it shows up on video, but I got a picture of it. That was Spotlight Video. It's got a nice little picture of a camera pointing down and then another camera pointing to the side, like TV cameras. Video rentals are an interesting relic of the past. I never recall going to them as a child. Then again, my memory tends to get hazy. I went to a Blockbuster once, I think. It was the one, Belcarra Center, about Colorado Avenue and Exposition. There was a Blockbuster there. I'm pretty sure the sign for it is still up. And went in, and Oh no, that's not true. I went. I did go to Second Spin before they closed a couple of times, and that was a video rental store. I guess maybe they weren't. No, they were more like Twist and Shout. They just sold movies, but they were nice. Second Spin was cool. It was a cool spot. I do know there's still some video rental stores, independently owned ones, and there are places even today that sell VHS. I know City Records sells VHS. Holy shit, look at this. I don't know if it shows up on video here, but the gate to the back of Spotlight Video is just wide fucking open. Man, they're asking to get trespassed on. Not me, though. I'm a law-abiding citizen. There's nothing interesting in there, so. I'd like to, but it's probably just dust and cockroaches in there, so not gonna bother. But man, they sure do leave the gate wide open just for people to check in and check out. Like I say, they just don't really give a shit about buildings here in Trinidad, you know. They just don't really care. It's kind of sad. Would love to get into VHS one day. Ooh, yes. VHS is an incredibly rewarding pastime. I still sell, I think, like 3 titles. No, more than that, like 5. I hope to add some soon. Maybe once I've stacked up enough good music videos, I'll make a new music video compilation and release that. There's one last Blockbuster in Oregon. No, I think that one closed down, actually. When I was in New Mexico, I thought I saw one, and it looked like it was open, but maybe it's just like a drug front or something. I don't know. I thought it was a Blockbuster. It had the Blockbuster sign, looked open. Might just be a restaurant or something now. Might just be lying to you. But did look like a Blockbuster. I don't think the Oregon one is still open. I think it closed. Pretty sure. Not that I'd rather go to an independent video shop. And really, video rental is, I will say, video rental is an outdated model. It was only really useful when VHS was expensive. Once VHS got super common and everyone was using it, it was like, you don't need to rent a VHS, you can just buy one. And it got to the point where it costs like $5 to just buy a VHS and watch the movie forever, as opposed to having to return it and all that hassle. So it does make more sense to just buy VHS and just, you know, keep a good collection on hand and trade and all of that. I will say there are some good places to buy VHS in Denver. Mutiny Cafe used to have a selection. I don't know if they still do, since they moved south. But City Records has a good VHS selection. They got good cassette collection too, all formats. I don't respect a place that just has DVD. It's like if someone wants, you know, if someone freaking wants VHS, they want VHS. I'm actually firmly of the opinion that people should even be given the option of 8-track. If they want 8-track, you know, just have a couple 8-tracks out for sale. You'll find some deranged 8-track fan. Look at this place. Spooky. I think this house is operational, but man, it just looks dead. It looks so sad and dead, especially at night. I love the desert type look. It's kind of haunting, but it's also just really fucking cool, I have to say. Desert shit, I like how it looks. At this point, I'm grateful for any place that still sells physical media. Well, yeah, support your local bookstores, your record shops, your tape shops. They keep it going. Look at this Probably doesn't show on camera. Massive cactus here. Man, if I was to fall into that. But the cold already feels like I'm being impaled on a cactus. I do love cacti. They look great too. I love how deserts look. I mean, I think it's worth the $60 I blew to come out here, but I just wish I got to play music. It does suck. Big time, you know? It does really suck. They should not say there's going to be an open mic on their dumb website, and then that's just a lie. I think that's pretty lame. It's really no good. Yeah, I think it is colder than Pueblo. You're in Trinidad. Good old Trinidad. What a spot. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Opinions? Insights? At the 45-minute mark. We got 6 people on. Any interesting thoughts, concerns, questions, etc.? I could name some shows and anime that would be good on VHS. I like both films and animation. Would you say there are films meant for VHS? Yeah, I would actually. There are films that only really are fun on VHS. Roger Corman movies, not fun on DVD, not fun in high res. Roger Corman movies should be experienced on VHS. I pity someone who watches Roger Corman on DVD. What else? Maybe like French art house. A lot of that stuff should be seen on VHS first. Can be seen on DVD too, but ideally on VHS first to get into it and kind of get a handle for it. Shows, sci-fi anthology shows are really fun on VHS, and sitcoms are pretty good too, but mainly sci-fi anthology shows can be fun on VHS, especially if they're in super long play mode. You got 6 hours on there, and it's really poor quality, but really fun. I will say that Star Trek looks better in high res. I do have to admit that. The props are a little more noticeable. Next Gen and DS9 and the like do look better, actually. Not necessarily on DVD, but just in rebroadcast, they look better. Voyager, though, actually can't be high res. There's something with its encoding where, like, it's perpetually stuck to look kind of like just late 90s, early 2000s forever, which I like. I think that's cool. It actually can't be upscaled. There's something charming about that, I feel like. That Next Gen and DS9 can, but Voyager can't. That's the most Voyager thing ever. But I got Seinfeld Season 3 on DVD from a Goodwill the other day. I also got a Seinfeld Season 4 DVD in a Season 3 sleeve some months ago from that same store, so I assume that the sleeve is from that. Yeah, they probably don't care too much about sorting stuff in Goodwill, and if there's a Season 3 and a Season 4 box or whatever they want, they won't notice or care any. I think that's a shame. They should care a little more. I would say, what about Seinfeld? Is Seinfeld better on VHS? Maybe not. There is a lot of it. Simpsons. I'll say this. Simpsons episodes, out of any sitcom, I feel like Simpsons would look better on VHS. I feel like if you had like the classic type episodes everyone likes, Cape Fear and Simpsons roasting, and all the really classic fun episodes everyone likes. I feel like that would be the best on VHS for sure. What do you think of French New Wave, the film and music? Well, actually, American New Wave music takes its name from French New Wave movies. French New Wave movies like Breathless and whatever came first. And they don't actually share too much in common, other than that, I guess, other than that, like, I could kind of buy that, like, B-52s are in a French, like, if they showed up as background extras in a French New Wave movie, I might actually buy it. But other than that, they don't really have too much in common. But I don't dislike French New Wave. I mean, they came up with it, the French, so gotta give them credit where it's due. It's a similar type aesthetic, but it's not really the same. There isn't. I mean, French New Wave. The music in French New Wave movies is basically just yee yee, and I love yee yee, but that's not New Wave. I love like French girl pop. That stuff's fucking awesome. Well, the American 60s had barely any like female pop stars. Like we had, Nancy Sinatra. We had Leslie Gore. Leslie Gore is awesome. But France really outdid us. They just had dozens and dozens of yee stars. All these like hip swinging girl singers that were just like totally off the chain, and they go, like all this pop and shit. I really like yee. It's a really underappreciated genre of music, actually. French 60s girl pop. It's cool. It looks cool too. I mean, it just has a colorful, gorgeous aesthetic to it. Yeah, but that's not new wave. That's kind of different. I look at B-52 and stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of like it, but it's distinct because it's got the American edge. It's got kind of a darker, more cynical tone, and it's in the it's in the 80s, so it's going to have a more pessimistic outlook towards things. I find that we're currently living through a very similar period to the 80s. People, especially people like Ariel Pink, just look at the 80s and are like, wow, remember Alf? Remember fucking E.T. and shit? But like the 80s were dark if you actually think about them from like a political angle. They were not a fun time to live. They were pretty angsty. I feel like the 2020s are a very similar decade. And I feel like retrospectively, Trump will be remembered in a similar way to Ronald Reagan. I think more people are illiterate, though, now. I think the tools of illiteracy have spread farther than they ever could in the 80s. I'm not fond of nostalgia baiting. I will never watch Stranger Things. Yeah, Stranger Things is, it really is just all the parts of the 80s that are convenient to remember and cutting out all the parts that aren't. I will say, Donnie Darko has grown on me as a film. I did not like it at all the first time I watched it, but then I watched The Box, Richard Kelly's last movie, and I liked it way more. I think mainly just because it's based on a Richard Matheson story, so it's a lot better than Donnie Darko conceptually. But then going back to Donnie Darko, I'm kind of like, this is kind of a neat idea, I don't think it's executed well at all. I think in terms of execution, it's absolutely terrible. But conceptually, I feel like it could be neat if it was a totally different director. I do like Super 8. I like Super 8 a lot. I think Super 8 is actually really underrated. And As much as I hate J.J. Abrams' take on Star Wars and Star Trek, and I don't like Fringe or anything, or Lost or anything else J.J. Abrams done, I do like Super 8. It's fun. It's like Stranger Things, except it's 2 hours, so it's not like this bloated multiple hour train wreck that's just like drawn out to shit. Has way more going on than it needs to. Super 8 is fun. It's very nostalgia baity, but it works, and it's better than like Ready Player One or anything. I think too many people sleep on Super 8. How do I spell the genre? I don't want to misspell it. Y-E-Y-E. Yee. As in ye, and then another ye. Just like, just like Kanye for short, or the meme video with the dinosaurs. Yee. Only thing I remember about Super 8 is that Portal 2 had a level which was a teaser for the film. Yeah, there were a lot of media tie-ins. I think Super 8 is one of those movies where the marketing is actually more fondly remembered than the film itself, which is a shame because it's actually a good movie on its own. It's actually really fun. If memory serves, it's actually set in 1979, so it's not really an 80s nostalgia movie because it's still set during the Carter administration. So, but it's a very slick movie. I think it succeeds in every way that Stranger Things does not. I like Portal, but one is a video game and one is a film. Oh, I've never heard of the film of the Portal movie. Never have. I didn't know there was one. Wow. Where the heck even am I? I come across such interesting places just going out in the world like this. I mean, it's cool. What the heck even is this? What even is that thing? Wow. I know J.J. Abrams had a lot of ties with Valve. I believe he's slated to do a Portal movie, and he made the worst game mode in Team Fortress 2. Then again, I'm not sure if the Portal movie will ever happen, or how they'd even adapt it into a film. Yeah, I guess. That's a good point. Oh, here's a better look at the Trinidad sign. Ooh. Yeah, look up there. It just says Trinidad. Well, it's very blurry on the camera. Trinidad has its own sign, just like Hollywood. You go here and you're like, well, damn, I'm in Trinidad here. It's sort of comforting, I guess. It's kind of neat. And Pueblo doesn't have that. Denver doesn't have that. We don't just have big signs. But Trinidad does. I don't know why. It's strange. Seems to be getting a little warmer. Maybe it's just that I've moved around a lot. It's coming up on an hour here. Tell you what, I'll let it go another half an hour. Why not? Things are getting interesting here. I believe they'll announce. What do I think of Hollywood films? I don't know. Aren't those the only type of films? I mean, films from anywhere else are so few and far between. I do hate that. I think there should be more films from different places. I think there should be especially Denver films. I've seen a really cool Ghostbusters fan movie called Return of the Ghostbusters, and it's in Denver, and it has an old Denver cast, an old Denver crew and shit, but barely anyone knows it exists. It's just a fan movie. It's actually much like it's Denver Ghostbusters, and to see the Ghostbusters around Denver is really cool because it's not like the Ghostbusters that everyone knows. It's like this different set of like 3 like Denver Ghostbusters. It's really fun. It's a fun movie. I think it was funded entirely by Denver people with Denver money and Denver shit, but that was like the mid 2000s. And I don't know if movies like that get around Denver anymore. I do love that movie just because of how Denver-y it is. Feels like Denver. I've always said there should be like it's cool to see ghosts attacking Denver the same way they attack New York in the real Ghostbusters movies. I like seeing Denver get swarmed by ghosts. I love that concept. It's cool. Return of the Ghostbusters. Good movie. Good Denver-based movie. Anyway. Wow. Walking quite the ways. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas, so on? Like I was saying about the 80s, it's, I worry about my generation, I really do. I saw an article today that said, my generation can't read single sentences. And the article was like, well, you know, our college professors are going to do their best to make sure that people my age can function in the AI-driven world of today. It's like, why do we need an AI-driven world? Just to toss that shit in the fucking dumpster. Like, you're literally making my generation so fucking stupid and incapable of reading. We're not going to be able to do shit. We're not going to be able to build robots and shit. We can't do it for shit because we're illiterate. Man, it's an illiteracy crisis. I tell ya, my generation is fucking stupid. I worry that ChatGPT is making the general populace dumber. Well, yeah, but I'll remain illiterate, you know, and that'll give me such an edge up. It's like the Idiocracy movie, you know, just maintaining a basic literacy can give you such an advantage. But at that point, it kind of becomes boring because you're like the king of the world, but you don't have anyone to compete against in a meaningful way that can like challenge or test you. Because your only friend is Frito. That's his name, right? Frito. Frito's a nice character, but really, I think too much of my generation is becoming Frito. I've seen people who can't do basic tasks without ChatGPT. Yeah, I buy that. Well, if I can survive 10 hours out here in the cold without ChatGPT, I think anyone can. It's pretty simple. The muscles going, wear gloves, basic shit. I mean, I think some of my generation probably couldn't, leave them out here out in the cold and they wouldn't know what the fuck to do. They have no resources, no means of doing anything. Well, so be it if Frito has to go. If Frito has to sacrifice himself, let it be. I don't want to bring this up, but I hate IQ scales. I took an IQ test once. I forget what I scored, but it was like a card-based IQ test. It was like a deck of cards, and they were supposed to be an accurate IQ test. I don't know if they were. But I think theoretically, from a theoretical standpoint, you could probably absolutely fucking destroy your IQ with enough use of things like AI. You could probably make yourself into a fucking dumbass if you really wanted to. Like, you could go from an absolutely perfect score on the IQ test to an absolutely brain rot score if you wanted to. But I don't know who'd want to do that if they have like a great IQ score to just just absolutely demolish their brain. Yeah. I'm currently reading a book called The Human Zoo by a sociologist named what's his name? Morris, something, Bernard Morris, or Burnoff Morris or something. And The Human Zoo. It's from 1969, and it's pretty cool. It's from a very 60s perspective, but it's about the ways in which society orders itself and basically box themselves in, like a human zoo. And it's a nice book. I'm having a very good read. I've decided I'm just gonna check out a bunch of great books from the library and pour over them and check them out. Because may as well enjoy the wisdom of the ages. Have access to it. Why not? One of my favorite sci-fi stories ever is The Man That Was Never Born from the Outer Limits. And in that there's this post-apocalyptic scenario where Bertram Cabot III, this deranged millionaire, is the end of the world. And there's this mutant after the apocalypse played by Martin Landau. And he's able to preserve so many great works of human thought in this underground vault. So even though the world's over and everything is decimated and the nukes have dropped and all, and Bertram Cabot III, the shitty little millionaire, has had his way, he has all the collected works of Charles Dickens and Edgar Allan Poe and all that, all the great literature of the world collected in a nice underground vault. It's a very, very good science fiction story. Highly recommend. Great time travel tale, The Man Who Was Never Born, from the original Outer Limits series. It's very good. One of the best. I never used AI in school or for intelligence. I should not discuss personal things, and luckily don't seek validation. Well, I don't think there is any kind of applicable use for it. I think that it's a fad and it's going to die off. It'll take a little while, but its most immediate parallel is fascist art. The art that was explicitly approved of by fascists during the fascist regimes of the late 30s and early 40s, like the art approved of by Italy under Mussolini. Reminds me a lot of the fascist art, the AI type stuff. I look at the big wall with Mussolini's blocky, rigid face and the seas surrounding it, and I go, yeah, I mean, Mussolini would have made that with AI if it had been around in his time, and that would have been the ultimate fascist weapon, to completely decimate literacy, make everyone into a simpering dumbass. I don't think it's working, though. I think I don't think everyone can just be, made into a fucking idiot, because, I mean, people are getting pissed. People are getting pissed out in the streets. People don't want ICE around. Minneapolis sounds like a fucking war zone these days. So I mean, you can't just fuck people over and expect them to take it. Especially these days, I think information travels a lot faster than it did in the 40s. So some of the stuff that a potential fascist regime could get away with back in the day, they can't really anymore so much. Any other questions, thoughts, ideas? Toss them at me. There's the Trinidad sign again. It's always watching. It's up there. Where is it? Right there. There it is. That's the Trinidad sign. It's just like the Hollywood sign. It's weird that Trinidad has its own sign. I wouldn't think it has any reason to in particular. One thing that amazes me about the current rise of fascism is how gaudy and unsubtle it is. Well, that's not really surprising. Fascism is, by its nature, unsubtle. It's not an ideology for subtle people. It's not an ideology for people who are capable of viewing things with nuance. It's blunt, and it's very direct. So I wouldn't expect subtlety from it. It's yeah. Getting out helps, going outside, exposing oneself to the elements. Getting cold. I know a lot of my peers just lock themselves inside and talk to their AI girlfriends all day, but spending nights out in 20-degree weather can help one through this time because it reminds you of your own mortality. Helps to humble you, you know. It's like if you can make it through this, that's a kind of strength. But it also helps you kind of retort against stupid arguments, like the watchmaker argument, like the idea that the universe is specially designed for human life or something. That's stupid. Not only is the vast majority of the universe not designed for human life or not ideal for it, but even here on Earth, and even here just out in my own state, I mean, if I didn't have a coat on, I'd probably be dead by the morning. So, would Ariel Pink count or Kanye count as virtue signaling? I avoid that term. No, virtue signaling is when the left supposedly says something like, I don't like racism, or this is sexist or whatever. So the idea is that's like a virtue and you're signaling your virtue. What Ariel Pink does is more like just, like selling out. That's what I call it. I don't call it virtue signaling. I mean, maybe some people consider the views he holds to be virtuous, but I don't really think they sincerely do. I don't see how anything he does could be perceived as a virtue. It's more just like selling out to the lowest common denominator, degrading yourself in your art, making yourself look stupid, making your art look stupid. Even if your art could have something to say or something interesting about it, you just kind of knock it down. You just kind of reduce it and yourself to a clown show. That's basically what Ariel Pink does. It's just selling out. And people say, oh, it's not profitable to sell out to the MAGA crowd. Absolutely is. Those fuckers will eat anything up. They'll eat anything up if it has a red hat on it. Like it doesn't matter at all. They'll buy into anything. They do not care at all. So I just call it selling out. It's not virtue signaling, and neither is Kanye. Although I wouldn't necessarily say that what Kanye did is selling out. I think Kanye, at least while he was doing it, was completely sincere about what he was saying and doing. I don't think Ariel Pink is. I think Ariel Pink is mostly an insincere grifter. I would probably listen to King Gizzard over Ariel. Also, is all of satire good, or is there bad satire too? It's a good question. I mean, in terms of intent or in terms of quality, because there can be very bad satire. That can definitely happen. Like if the satirist lacks self-awareness, if the satirist isn't very observant, if the satirist is generally imperceptive, that can happen. Like I know some people consider there to be some really funny right-wing comedians, but like what's his name, Benjamin Owens or whatever, that guy is not funny at all. And like recently I feel like a lot of the big comedians, like in terms of intent and quality, well, I know that recently all the big comedians feel kind of like they don't really have their finger on the pulse of what's going on. And that's concerning because comedians are supposed to be like aware of the problems with the world, but they don't seem to be so much. That is kind of a current issue. It goes along with culture, like a lot of comedians don't seem to have the best interests in mind. So like, yeah,